Hello beauties, it's your host Rowena and Felicia. These days we constantly have multiple tabs open in our brains to the point where I think we're all very aware of the fact that we're all in need of balance.
Yes.
Like closing the tabs and to limit ourselves from opening infinite amount of tabs.
Yeah, which is where I think this whole rise in, self-care rituals and practices and things from facial tools and skincare as a whole, like everyone got into it, which is so great. But what we want to explore specifically today is how different parts of the world and different cultures and traditions have approached this concept of self-care since ancient times. Because, I think it's only a recent thing in our millennial or Gen Z stage.
It only recently became trendy.
Right.
Like trending.
Yes.
So now we want to travel around the world, specifically to 3 different destinations, and we're going to explore Hammam from the Middle East and North African regions, Hygge in the Nordic regions, and mindfulness concepts from Japan like wabi-sabi and more.
So I think we can all take different aspects of this to apply to ourselves and kind of apply it to our own skincare routines.
Yeah. And before we get started, if you guys haven't already, please give us a subscribe. If you guys like to see more videos like this, give it a thumbs up. We also have a newsletter with a new e-magazine that you guys can check out.
Definitely check out.
Link down below. And thank you so much to Whind for sponsoring this portion of the video for us to be able to share with you guys what you guys are about to hear.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Bathhouse. Need we say more?
All right, first up, Hammam has origins in the Middle East and North African regions, and you'll see places like Turkey and Morocco have their own versions of Hammam. But to explain it, it's a very thorough cleansing and bathing ritual to help increase circulation, release toxins, and purify the skin. $2 signs out of 3.
Okay, so as I was doing the research, was so excited to instantly jump into my bath and try this for myself. Okay, so what it comes down to, it's like you can think of as the OG or the founding fathers of your kind of shower bathing routine. They have these hammams, which is like this beautifully tiled bathhouses where there's steam circulating everywhere. You can just imagine women flocking there every week to kind of really de-stress from head to toe because it's a full body scrub down, exfoliation and masking routine. And then they'll get to, connect with the community again, catch up with friends. And it's just like this whole day of self-care.
It's like cleansing.
Yeah.
Just as you were describing it, my face was like, that sounds like a dream. So to break this down into 4 steps, the first is you enter a steam chamber where the steam will help raise your temperature. And then when your body temperature raises, it can also help you start relaxing in here.
Yeah.
Just melting everything away.
Yeah.
The second step is they use a specific exfoliating mitt called the Kasbah glove to deeply rub and exfoliate all over the body to remove layers of dead skin and impurities. This is precisely where you see all the deliciously rolled pieces of eraser dust that comes from your skin.
Yes, but not just from one region of the face, which we're used to. It's like the whole body. So now that your skin is all fresh, what they do is then cover the body, sometimes head to toe, like face, hair, body, tip-toe in a special Moroccan clay that's known as ghassoul. And you'll find this in a lot of different masks, and we're going to talk about this in a specific one very soon. And what this does is really help to detoxify. It draws out any further impurities. And the clay, I think, is very indicative of these Middle Eastern cultures because it's specific to that region that you can acquire this kind of clay.
It's like dipping your hand in paint or something,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's in clay.
Yeah.
So once your body's nice and replenished, what better way to seal it all off than with some minty drinks or rosy drinks?
Yeah, especially like a Moroccan mint tea or rose flower tea. So here's how you can do this for yourselves at home.
The very first thing is to get in your bathroom, regardless if you have a shower or a bathtub. If you have a bathtub, you can fill it up with hot water and then slowly work your way in. If you have a shower, especially an enclosed one, what I like doing is to turn the water hotter than usual to get the steam nice and rambunctious. What is that word? Robust. Nice and steamy. And then when you go in, of course, just turn the water back down to more of a you know?
Yeah, no
Something that's not
scorched
scorching.
chickens.
Yes, especially for people with really dry skin. And then you can get an exfoliating mitt of your choice. Fel has a couple of options
Yes.
that you've really liked.
Yes. This is actually that mental like letting go process, seeing all the dirt that's built up, seeing everything that's built up in the mind and letting it go.
One thing for dry skin, I would say go more for a loofah or just use your hands than getting like an exfoliating mitt or those towels, because if your skin is dry and sensitive, you will turn into a lobster.
So the thing that it reminded me of is to like really get into every part of your body. Yeah, I never really tend to, you know, my ankles and like my shins.
That's
and all
where
that
there's the most
stuff.
skin. See, this is
Yeah.
why I love baths. I've done this ever since I was really little. My mom would just tell me to, you just soak in the water first and you start rubbing, and then your skin naturally comes off. I think it's harder in the shower, but
You're just like this.
especially around, it's like,
Oh my
I'm gonna
God,
put my feet, it's around your,
It's like here.
I was just wearing sandals. I think it was meant to block her feet, but yeah, where you're like next to your ankles,
Yeah.
that's where the most gunk comes off. It's so satisfying.
Okay, so this is why our tip is, if you're doing this at home, if you're filling up the bathtub, this first step, like rub all that stuff into the shower and then let that water go, and then refill it, this time with either your, you know, your actual bathing products, your
Oils, bath bombs, salts.
essential oils, yeah, whatever it is. And that's the second kind of like relaxation. Okay, so once you're in the tub, or even if you're in the shower, this is a great time to adopt what they do, which is covering yourself in a mud mask. So the one that Whind has literally blew our minds.
This is the Atlas Pure Purifying Whipped Mask, and the reason why it's called the Atlas Pure, it's inspired by the Atlas Mountains, where there's very crisp and purifying air. So Hin mentioned that she grew up going to the hammam ever since she was little, and the first thing you're taught as a young girl is to never let your clay mask dry out.
This is almost like re-educating and redefining what a clay is. Because this one incorporates oils in it, it's actually nourishing your skin while the clay is absorbing all the impurities. And there's also salicylic acid in here, which is unclogging your pores when your skin is all nice and soft and ready to take in all this, right? Because I've used a lot of clay masks.
Hello, girlfriend.
It's undescribable, the feeling of when you have it on. It's like a smooth velvet that's flexible. You almost don't even feel like it's on your face. Yeah, and that's unheard of for mud masks, which I know can be very stripping. It's a little bit brightening, and it's like a dream come true that I use this like 3 days in a row. I was so excited. You probably shouldn't, don't use this 3 days in a row, but I was just like, I want it again.
It's Spell's world. She does whatever she wants, but we don't recommend you guys doing
Yeah,
it.
don't do it like too often. Feel free to take it down like the neck and everything as well.
Decolletage.
Yeah. So if you're standing in the shower, you could still put this on while you do your hair, you do the rest of your body, whatever it is. If it's in the bath, this is the time that you sit there with a book, with a podcast, with nothing at all, just you and your thoughts, good thoughts, and leave this on. Yeah.
So after you rinse everything off, it's time to step out of the shower. Do what you will with your body, whether it be oils, whether it be moisturizing with lotion.
Yes.
This is their Transforming Cream to Oil Nightly Mask. It comes in this beautiful, beautiful purple hue that's just so lovely, so lovely.
You know, visually, I think the Moroccan colors are quite heavy and dense and like saturated, right? But what these products are is totally the opposite, where it's lightweight, cloudy. It's just so good to use, and it's so smooth. And it's, yeah, you don't feel like it's thick like
I think the
some of
main
other
thing is
creams.
that it's non-greasy, because sometimes sleeping masks can be like, and then your hair just gets everywhere and it gets stuck everywhere. But this one, it has one of the most beautiful textures.
For an oily skin, I even put this and then this, and it's still like not thick and suffocating.
This is beautiful. This is amazing.
The name is the Marrakech Light Illuminating Magic Oil.
It really is like a magic oil. So the texture of it, I would describe it as like squalane, because it's that lightweight.
Yes.
But there's actually a blend of 9 oils in there.
It's got this earthy kind of scent to it. I was like flaky, dehydrated, imbalanced, and this really helped to re-nourish the skin and like give it that kind of lit from within look. And I get like flaky ears, and I was, oh my my God, I forgot. Now that I mention it again, remember I had that and then I put this on for the very first time.
Kind of like, it was just really dry and feeling.
And then it was gone. It was gone and it's still gone. So that's now a habit. Every time I moisturize my face or whatever I put on my face, I also put all over my ear and behind as well, and it just really helps. So that's the oil. Chef's kiss. So within the range, there's actually a total of 7 products, but we're just mentioning our top favorites. Now is time to pick a tea. What's your favorite tea?
A Rooibos.
So my favorite right now is this one from Harney and Sons. It's the Milky Oolong. Oh my God, I read about it.
Milky Oolong tea.
It's infused with milk like essence. So when you smell it, it's like having a boba tea without it being sweet or milky. It's just the oolong, but smells like milky goodness. So we wrote about this in our e-magazine, so make sure you subscribe to our newsletter to get that link. It's all free, and we talk more about it on there. So that wraps up that kind of bathing ritual. And you can try different products.
Don't be afraid to take up time in your own schedule because you're worth it.
Yeah.
I'm telling myself.
Bath time ritual will be my October goals. Thumbs up if you guys are also going to try. We highly recommend, and share your experience below.
So from the Middle East, we're gonna travel to the land of the happiest people in the world.
Apparently.
But actually, the Nordics. Yes, so the birthplace of Hygge.
So yes, as Ro just said, how you pronounce it is Hygge. The popular understanding is that it's from Denmark, but it actually stems back to 16th century Norwegian and Nordic cultures. And what it is it translates to the meaning of to comfort or to console, to give courage or joy and general well-being. Degree of difficulty and price, $1 sign.
So I feel like Hygge as a thing became quite popular within the past, I would say 10 years. Where the study, of like where are the happiest people in the world? Oh, they're in Denmark. Why? It's like, oh, because there's this thing called Hygge.
I think it's interesting how we just were in the Middle East, right? And that was really centered around the bath ritual. Now we move into this different area where a lot of it is surrounded by the home and the environment that you create, which gives you that self-care.
And I think a lot of us know of Hygge from the little book of the little book of Hygge. And Hygge has been called everything from the art of creating intimacy to coziness of the soul, and even cocoa by candlelight. So on top of Hygge, from the Scandinavians, there's also the term Lagom. It's one of my favorite cleansers. And then the premise of that and what inspired the brand is not too little, not too much, and it's like balance. Everything we've been talking about, just finding that balance wherever you are in the spectrum.
Yeah. And another term that's within the same realm is also fika. So, they have their coffee breaks in the morning at 9, but also at 3 p.m. throughout the day, just to take a sip and connect with colleagues or wherever you are, and reminds you of being present, I think. And that's so beautiful.
Slowing down and enjoying the little moments in life.
Yeah, which is so different if you compare, coffee culture to, once again, like a lot of other like Western
New York
cultures.
City, just grab and go.
Yeah, it's fuel to keep you going. Otherwise, you're like, meh.
Yeah.
But then over there, it's a way to wind down.
And it's a fuel to help you connect.
Yeah. Okay, so we prepared a Hygge home kit for you guys. Just some bare essentials that you'll need to create the mood.
Starting with candles. So to set the mood for your home, you would light a plethora of candles. So unlike here in the US, I feel like we enjoy scented candles and things that are all scented. If you want to try Hygge the Hygge way, you can try it with unscented candles and just, light a couple of more. Just don't go overboard, and remember to crack a little window open so that you're not just breathing in the fumes. Imagine lighting a room full of scented candles. I think your smell buds, your nose would just fall off.
It would. You'd be like gasping for breath. Sometimes I've napped with my candle on, woken up, and I'm like, oh gosh.
Do you open your window when you light a candle?
A little bit.
Just to have some sort of, or else you like suffocate.
It's suffocating.
Yeah. So the art of candle lighting, and then you can also prepare yourself some little treats, be it chocolates, biscuits, little things to nibble on.
This is actually one of their characteristics too. Rather than like trying to get this healthy life, this is where they enjoy little treats, like
Yeah.
of sweets, which is why I think which is why they're happy.
It's not like huge extravagant treats, it's just little treats on a daily basis. I think it's not gonna hurt you.
And another element is your favorite tea or cocoa or coffee even, whatever it is, to enjoy this moment with your favorite beverage, which creates that cozy, feeling,
Just have a bunch of textured things, be it like blankets or pillows or throws, and then anything warm, cozy, just good for the soul. Anything you can think of it, that's basically what Hygge is.
Yeah, and then you'll have something to do. So they're big advocates for Netflix and chill in the most like warming way, because you consume television and you're enjoying the moment, or it could be a book, or it could be a journal. So any of these will work.
So when it comes to what you're consuming, I'd personally recommend a show that makes you feel, or like a movie that just makes you feel happy.
Yeah, uplifted.
Like for me, it's Spirited Away, or I really love Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh yeah, that's
It's like
very,
those feel-good
giddy.
movies that you're just like, oh, it's like a warm hug of a movie.
Yeah.
Imagine watching Squid Game. It's like,
Oh no. Feel free to chop and change to your liking, depending on your lifestyle. The reason why it was $1 sign and just like least difficulty is because you don't really need anything in particular.
just creating a little nook, creating a corner, using what you already have to build the ambiance.
Yeah. It really makes the difference. Like your environment is so important.
It is. Yeah. And if I have to think about Hygge as skincare, Make Prem, Save Me, cream comes to mind. The 12 ingredient, those like very reliable basic best friends.
True.
So now on to our final destination for today. Quick overview.
Pronounced Japan.
I didn't even realize that was that. You might think, okay, so the first two were kind of ritual names. Japan doesn't have necessarily a ritual
Because there's thousands.
because it's literally ingrained in everything that they do.
Japanese self-care rituals have been heavily influenced by Buddhist understandings and teachings. Degree of difficulty and price is 0, but because we still need some things to enjoy life, we'll put $1 aside.
Yes. Because I think this one really boils down to the essence of everything we do and the intention. We've gone from these two destinations. The first was, bathing rituals.
It's like a place to go. And then you go into your home.
Which is
and
the
now you go
environment.
into this home.
Yeah. So if you think about Japan, people are just like, why are Japanese things just so aesthetic?
Mujis of the world.
Yeah, and there's a reason. There's like power in the simplicity and beauty in the wisdom that it evokes. Reflecting on how we approach our life, we think, okay, we do this activity and then I have to carve time out to do self-care. But what Japan and Buddhist philosophy and principles tries to spell is that it's not two separate things. It's while you're doing every single thing, you're actually practicing that mindfulness, practicing the meditative state of doing things so that you don't even have to carve out any time. So reading, cooking, everything is so intentional and you're present. Yeah.
I think over time, especially growing up here in the West, happiness, health, all of these things, it oftentimes seem like a destination or something you need to achieve. And it's everything when you set something like a goalpost, like once I reach this way, I'll be happy. And you're like, but I'm not happy. And then once I do this, I'll be happy. But then it doesn't happen. So I think this is, as you said, changing your mindset and mentality of being, instead of it needing to, you need to be here for you to be this, is just, you just are.
Yeah.
You just are healthy, you just are happy through the things that you do.
Apply that to cutting up your vegetables or cleaning your place. That is so powerful. Ro and I also do follow Buddhist teachings. And so this, I think, as we grew up, became more and more applicable and in the way that we understood how it applies to our life.
Now let's run through some of the terms that speak the most to us.
Starting with maybe one of the most popular. Wabi-sabi.
Wabi sabi. I actually bought a book in Portland. It's like the little book of Wabi Sabi. It taught me how to learn myself and embrace my imperfections. Like actually, I was going through a pretty rough time.
This is great.
Yes.
So what does Wabi Sabi mean? It basically translates to beauty in the imperfection.
We want everything to be perfect. But let's say if there's a speck or if there's like a little crack or if there's like a ding in there, instead of throwing it out and being like, you're not good enough, it's embracing that for its imperfection and being like, you're still beautiful.
Yeah.
And wabi sabi.
Yeah, that's why I think Japanese ceramics is a thing, because you can see all those ridges, those nooks that aren't symmetrical, but in a different approach, it's like symmetry is the goal. You know, symmetry is beautiful. If you look at a face, it has to be symmetrical. If you look at design, it has to be symmetrical. But here it's the complete opposite and like enjoying it.
Yeah.
So then how would you apply this then to looking at like life?
How it helped me the most is realizing that growing up, it's not that people told you to be perfect, but if you demanded perfection from yourself your whole life and you don't hear from anyone or anything that you don't need to be perfect, you just kind of keep doing what you think you need to do.
Yeah.
So I think this was the first time in my life where I was like, oh wait, there can be beauty in imperfection.
It like flipped it on its head.
Yeah. And there's beauty in impermanence and there's beauty in things that, you know, it's okay. I think this is the first time I realized it's okay. And I still think there's a long way to go. But yeah, this really was like the first
The needle, what is it?
the first pebble in the stream. I don't know. I just made that up.
And really based off that, there is another term that goes hand in hand. It's kintsugi, and it's highlighting imperfections. So not just accepting it, this is really psychological.
Yeah.
Not just accepting the imperfections, but embracing it. So as you said, what they'll do is like, if there's a smashed pottery of any sort, a plate, a cup, they'll actually fill it up with gold and make it back to a hole. And that's why you'll see there's this gold speckling throughout it. That is then this new product that by any means isn't symmetrical, isn't perfect, and it's been broken, but is beautiful. So it really is a reflection of like healing our own wounds, bettering ourselves, and being a better version. To break it up a little bit, there's also
I'm
omakase.
about to cry.
I know, it's just so good. You guys might have heard about this. It's omakase, and what this translates to is basically, I'll leave it up to you. So if you do this at a restaurant, you're basically giving the chef the permission to just give you whatever he wants. Yeah, like a sushi, whatever it is, those little bites, and you just take everything as it comes. And I think once again, that's beautiful because it's out of your control. You're putting the trust in someone else and belief in someone else that they're going to care for you and serve you, and you're going to show appreciation no matter what it is that's served.
What does this mean to you?
I think I have this thing with subtle control.
She has a thing with not being able to ask for help.
Oh yeah, that's true too. And also the unknown, so you want to control the unknowns, and then you don't want to seem weak and vulnerable and ask for help, and so you want to have a tight grip on what you can. Yeah. But then at the same time, I'm also very chill. So I'm like very conflicted, and I've grown up very conflicted about that. But learning to, you know, merge the two. Yeah. So I think what this really like symbolizes is there's a power in just accepting what will be, will be. On to the next one. Gaman.
Gaman. Live with great resilience.
What this loosely translates to is this idea of enduring when things are hard or when things don't go your way. So, you know, as a kid, you probably have the least gaman. You're like, Mah!
Or sometimes you have the most.
That's
and then
true.
You grow up and be a baby.
Whatever it is, like tantrums. The older you get, you realize that you don't have control over anything and you don't have power over anything.
I think it's like just to follow the course of nature in how you are and who you are. Yeah. Because I think in life, it's easy to be like, I need to fight for this, I need to do this, I want this for myself, so I'm gonna go get it. And I think that's what we grew up, the culture that we grew up in. But I think as I'm getting older, I'm learning that in life, what's yours is yours. So no matter how much you fight for it, no matter, you know, what you do, even if you want something really badly and do everything in your power, if it's not yours, it won't be yours. Yeah. But if it is yours and you know, work relatively hard, but you're not sweating over it and losing sleep over it, what is yours will be yours, whether it comes to anything in life. So based off of all of these principles, if you think of Japanese brands, the most prominent one or the one that comes to mind is actually Uroi.
Yeah.
Simplicity in the skincare products, simplicity in like every single one of their products, mostly just hyaluronic acid. It's very calming, very soothing, very hydrating, but that's it.
And you see this even down to the packaging. It's an off-white that's so comfortable. Our favorites are like the hyaluronic essence. We were just discussing amongst the Beauty Within team, and now that it's a little bit colder, that emollient cream, I think it's the
So
U6.
good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like for a person with dry, maybe even combo skin, even oily, now that it's winter, it's like so dry. That is beautiful. It just sinks into the
Yeah,
skin.
and the toner is amazing.
Yeah.
There's the U3, which is their OG one, and there's the S3, which is the one without alcohol. And both amazing.
Yeah.
Love.
And out of all the brands that utilize hyaluronic acid, they really go above and beyond because their parent company really is just focused on hyaluronic acid. Some people,
Pure.
yeah, some people question why there's alcohol. The alcohol is actually for the permeation into your skin so that your skin can actually do what it needs to do with the hyaluronic acid.
And of course, when you guys think of Japanese culture, one of the skincare brands that you just cannot not think about is Tatcha, even though it is an American brand. The ingredients that they use and the way that they're so inspired by Japan, it inspires you.
Yeah. Their
Yeah.
approach is so
Yeah.
deeply rooted in the culture from, the ingredients. But also I think the way that Vicky goes about the brand itself.
Explaining the brand,
Who they choose to like have on. It's not just kind of like, we have a new product, we have a new product. Yeah, it's very like in a Japanese way. Intentional.
So the video could have ended when we're talking about wabi-sabi.
What you talk about really does make you feel that way.
Yeah.
Chasing after contentness, happiness, fulfillment is tiring. So figuring out that you have it all within yourself from the starting point, beauty is within, that glow that you get from all these different cultures, bringing it all back, what they're all aspiring to is finding an environment to facilitate you being your best self. And therefore being able to like step out into the world and spreading that light.
Carving out time for yourself, creating a safe space wherever you are, whether it's physically at home or even in your mind, and not being afraid to spend that time in your safe space by yourself. Take yourself on nice walks, take a nice bath, put on a clay mask, put on your favorite movie, listen to some music, whatever it is that you do. I feel like if you are present, if you're mindful about doing things that you're doing, it's great. And then some people might be like, oh, but if you listen to music and watch movies, isn't that counterintuitive? I actually think if you're intentional about doing it and you're present while doing it, I believe there's such a thing as conscious consumption.
Oh yeah. Anyhows, hope you enjoyed this video. We want to make this a series.
Next time we'll just spin a globe and just pick a spot and we'll go from there.
Yeah, there's so much we can learn from different cultures, I guess traditions and history. So yeah, give it a thumbs up if you like it. All the links for everything that we mentioned will be below and we'll see you very soon. Bye! Bing! Oh, bye.